Please remember that everyone charged in this bill of indictment is presumed innocent. Specifically, the indictment brings felony charges against Donald John Trump.
Former President Donald Trump indicted for the fourth time, this time along with 18 others in Georgia in that 41-count indictment for his alleged efforts to overturn the results of the 2020 election.
The 97-page indictment, as described by the district attorney in Fulton County, holds 41 felony counts, 13 of them against the former president, charging him with a number of things, including racketeering. And the president and others, they have until next Friday to appear in court again, August 25th.
Here with reaction, political panelist Tudor Dixon, the host of the Tudor Dixon podcast. Also with us, Jim McLaughlin, a pollster for McLaughlin and Associates and the Trump 24 campaign. And special guest Joe Pinion is live in studio. Welcome, everyone, and thanks for coming on. Tudor, I will go first to you. Just overall, your reaction to this fourth indictment of Donald Trump.
Well, I think it's shocking when we look at anything that talks about the election, especially when we had just come off of the 2016 election where we had Hillary Clinton calling Donald Trump an illegitimate president. Then we find that the Steele dossier was completely faked and commissioned by her. Nothing happened to her. We look at what's going on with Joe Biden right now as president, what happened when he was vice president. And now we're saying that a president who said, I want to look back at this election is being indicted. This is shocking. It is a banana republic in the United States right now.
And I'll move on to Jim McLaughlin as well. Taking all of these, and they are serious, again, not one, not two, not three, but four indictments now. And again, all of these happening, coming down, if convicted on this, you're talking a lifetime behind bars. But taking all of the seriousness away from that, all of this is playing a part at a very coincidental time, if you wanted to describe it that way, all happening, again, within a presidential primary election season, beginning, again, kicking off in January. What are your thoughts on that? Can that be ignored?
You know, it's pretty amazing. And as the pollster, I'm going to give you some numbers. The last three national polls among Republican primary voters, Donald Trump has been ahead by 42 points, 43 points, 45 points. This is clearly backfiring on Joe Biden and the Democrats. And they don't know what to do with it right now. They think that this is going to help them in the election. Joe Biden had a really bad week last week. I think that's why they sped this thing up. You look at what happened last week. We found $2 million in more bribes coming from our enemies to this White House. And by the way, it's not a Hunter Biden scandal. This is a Joe Biden scandal. He's bought and paid for by our enemies. You had the Afghanistan families talk about the debacle that happened there, not to mention some more bad inflation numbers, as well as several Democrats coming out against Joe Biden's immigration policies. The American people see this. Over 70% of Americans say these are politically motivated. So look, right-minded Americans, they're looking at this and they're saying this is politics at its very worst with Joe Biden. It's going to backfire on them.
Everyone's got a different opinion on what this could mean for the race to the White House in 2024. Wanted to share this thought by the former president. He's posting on Truth Social. Again, this came out late last night. So he shared this in the morning, by the way, 1:28 a.m. Part of it, so the witch hunt continues. 19 people indicted tonight, including the former president of the United States. He goes on to say that even before the grand jury had voted, again, the indictment document appeared to be put out and then quickly withdrawn. He says it sounds rigged. Why didn't they indict 2.5 years ago? Because they wanted to do it right in the middle of my political campaign. And Joe, we'll go next to you. Just your read on the timing of this all.
Well, look, I think it is telling the district attorney has to come out and remind people that all of the charges are presumed innocent because of the fact that the indictment was effectively released, or the charging document was released before there'd actually been a vote by the grand jury. So that's one issue. Think of that what you may. But I think, to Jim's point, when you look at what's happening here, all Democrats have done is cement Donald Trump's stature in this Republican primary. The question becomes, how does this fly with those independents? And I think there's going to be a whole laundry list of issues. There is such a thing as egos getting in the way, from Alvin Bragg in New York to this DA down in Georgia, where it certainly appears that their ego supersedes the fact pattern at their disposal. And if you juxtapose that again with what has happened here, with them now having to deal with the fact that it appears you have a federal case and a state case trying to allege much the same thing about Donald Trump, the question becomes, where is the communication, but also where is this notion of justice being blind, many people seeing justice being anything but that if your last name is Trump or if you have an R next to your name at the voter registration office in your state.
Tudor Dixon, Jim McLaughlin, Joe Pinion, thank you very much.
Thank you.